Good morning, everyone. I am Lexi Stead, intuitive guide and spiritual teacher. I'm also the creator of Healing at the Heart, and welcome to our first live video this morning. I want to introduce to you here my other helper. This is Lynx. You can see them. Say hi, Lynx. He is also an intuitive healer. And he just decided to join us today for the first live video. So I hope everyone's having a great morning. I, envisioned my first live video actually being introducing myself and what I do a little bit more in my background and stuff. But this morning when I woke up, I instantly just felt the strong desire to share an experience I had upon waking up. And it has to do with anxiety. And it just felt like this is something that people are really dealing with a lot and all the time. And I had a little experience this morning that I think would really help some people out. So I guess a little bit about me. Like I said, I am a spiritual teacher, and I use my intuitive gifts to help other people follow their intuition and speak their truth. And then I help guide and kind of help change perspective a little bit for those that, when they start following their intuition and speaking their truth, have a lot of contrast arise. And contrast would be stuff like all the sticky things in your situation, in your life, any sticky situations that you don't like, any uncomfortable emotions that arise. And a lot of times we don't know how to deal with that, and we're not taught how to work through, especially like I'm going to talk about today a little bit about anxiety and what to do when that comes up. So this morning, upon awakening, I guess I was still in my waking state, not fully awake. I was having a lot of thoughts pop into my head. Our biggest thing, I guess, that I'm doing right now in my life is we are going to be moving, and we are looking for a new house. And I have not bought a new house since my kids were teeny tiny 10 years ago, and that was something that my husband kind of bought the house for me, and I didn't have to go through the experience because it brought up a lot of anxiety for me back then. So he just did it for me, and back when I didn't know how to handle any of that. And so here we are again. We're looking for a new house, and I found my thoughts kind of running away with me before I was even fully awake. And what was on my mind was, like I think most people probably feel, how are we going to do this financially? And I've always been someone who liked to have things figured out and liked to have all my ducks in a row and be in control of everything to feel okay. And I've come a long way in learning how to let that go and to trust that, everything does work out for me, even if it doesn't look that way, and to follow my intuition and what feels better. And so these thoughts were popping into my head, and how are we going to do this? Are we going to be able to sell our house? Are we going to be able to afford, a bigger house? And where are we going to get the loan? And what do we do first? And all of those things. And so when I woke up, I had all this anxiety in the pit of my stomach. It was not a lot, but it was definitely there, like, little butterflies in my stomach. And I woke up thinking, ooh, this doesn't feel good. I haven't felt anxiety like this in a while. I was like, I don't like this. And then the second thought that popped in my head was like, oh, this is awesome, because now I get to have a real life example and kind of teach people a little bit of, how I view anxiety and practice, kind of what I preach. And so I was still in bed. So before I got out of bed there, I just, took a moment and, did some deep breathing, because I always like to do deep breathing when I feel a little bit of anxiety. And then I just give myself permission to have the anxiety. Used to be, way back when, I used to jump up really quickly and start doing things and start, being active and do stuff to try to get rid of the anxiety. My biggest thing was cleaning. I used to clean a lot when I was anxious. And so now I actually just, tell myself that it's okay. It's okay to have this anxiety. It's okay to be feeling this way. It's all okay. It's only temporary. It always is only temporary. And it's just an indicator that something I'm thinking, these thoughts that I am entertaining are not true. They're just not true. And that's why I'm feeling some anxiety, because things that are true and things that are in alignment with who I am and what I want in my life, feel good. So another little tidbit on this kind of anxiety that I was feeling this morning was following your intuition, and is a big part of that is being present in the moment. Your intuition always guides you to the next better feeling thought in the moment. And a lot of times, most people, we project all of our thoughts into the future. We project on how we gotta plan out, what we're gonna do, how we're gonna be in control of it, how we're gonna have all our ducks in a row, and how we're gonna make it happen. And by focusing on the future, on something that's actually hypothetical, hasn't even happened yet, we start to feel an anxiety because you realize that you can't control the future. There actually is nothing to plan, because as the saying goes, when you plan, God laughs, because it's not your job to plan out your life. It's your job to come back to the present moment, pay attention to what feels good to you in the present moment, and know that everything is working out for you, even if it doesn't look that way. So I had an opportunity to see, like everyone always has lots of opportunities to see how the contrast is actually working for them. And this was really working for me because my intention is to have this house buying and selling process be really easy. And I know how I want to feel in the new house. And I know it's coming to me, and I know it's going to all work out exactly right and how it's supposed to. And if I just get out of my way and stop planning for the future and just focusing on how I want to feel about it right now, then the universe will line that up for me. And they'll bring me the perfect house, and the money will just, come from somewhere. But I won't have to work hard to try to make it happen. It will just happen probably in a way that's even easier and better than I could have even, planned on. So, this worry and this projecting into the future is just not serving me. It's not serving me. It doesn't feel good, and it's not something that we can, prevent from happening. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know when I'll find this house. I don't know, how I'll be able to afford it, but I know I will. And so coming back into that present moment, and especially for me, sitting outside and being in nature, like I am right now, and with Lynx, who's taking a little siesta here, because he knows how to ground himself, and he knows how to be in the present moment. Like I said, he's a great teacher. We can bring ourselves back to a state of calm. And for me, when I feel that calm come over my body, it's like a warming, tingling sense. Just really, really relaxing kind of sense. And so yeah, if you just when anxiety comes up, just recognize that it's not something that has to be gotten rid of. It's not something that we have to resist. In fact, the more we resist, our fears and our anxiety, the more that they actually persist. It's just energy, and it wants to move, and it wants to move through you. It doesn't want to stay with you. And yeah, so that's just a little bit. There's a lot of different reasons for anxiety, a lot of different roots for anxiety, and I do teach on some different types of anxiety and where they come from, and give some guidance on how to move through those. I am mostly an intuitive teacher, so more than give people tips and exercises and things to do, I really do prefer to talk about metaphysical, spiritual topics, give a little bit of insight, and hopefully make them easier to understand. And then also teach people how to follow their own intuition and their own guidance, so they can have a sense of how to direct their own reality. Because honestly, I could tell you like 5 or 10 things to do when you become anxious, but if you're not following your own intuition and you're just trying to follow a process, it may not work for you. Not everything, works for every person. It's very individual. And when you follow your own intuition and you follow what feels right for you to do, like for me this morning, it felt right to feel the anxiety, to let it completely come and feel it, and to do some deep breathing. Then that, for me, helped to move it through and resolve it. But it may be different for somebody else. For someone else, they may have, felt like singing or toning or using their voice. Using your voice and making sounds and toning is a great way to move energy. Getting up and dancing, is another good way. Writing, there's all sorts of things. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight into how I kind of work through emotions and things that arise. So I hope you guys have a great day, And be easy on yourselves and enjoy this beautiful spring weather.